thank you. I want to thank everybody for taking the time out to come down to the maintenance and development subcommittee meeting regarding our food truck ordinance. We have in the room from the city, Chris Signoli. What I can see, my eyes are very bad. I want to go to our counselors, our chair, our president, Counselor Whitfield, City Councilor Walsh, City Councilor Hurst, City Councilor Davila, City Councilor Perez. I think I saw Councilor Martin at some point.
Yep, he's there, Counselor.
Yes, I am, Counselor. Thank you.
All right. Sorry, my eyes are bad. I think those are all the counselors. Then I see representation from Eversource, obviously the police. I think that's it. That's online there. Again, I call this meeting into motion now at 5:07. And again, it's Wednesday, January 28th. And we have contingents of folks from the community here as well. So Chris, I'm just going to open up. I gave you what I had, and I'll share this with the counselors. But some of the things that I want to see implemented, if not already, but came up with a one-pager. The following regulations are recommended for the operation of the mobile food vendors on private property in the city of Springfield. Again, before I start, we received a letter from Counselor Martin. I had that circulated as well to all the counselors regarding this ordinance. But at some point I'll yield the floor to Counselor Martin so he can speak on behalf of that. So Section 1, the mobile food truck park. This is what I'm recommending. No mobile food truck park shall be allowed on private property without a special permit from the Springfield City Council. Definition: a mobile food truck park shall be defined as a site where 3 or more mobile food units are located on the same property and remain on site overnight, whether or not they are operating at all times. Section 2, buffer requirements. No mobile food truck shall operate within 50 feet of the property line abutting residential use parcel. If a mobile food truck utilizes a generator, the required buffer shall be increased to 100 feet. B, no mobile food truck shall operate within 100 feet of any gasoline pump or fuel dispensary facility. Then Section 3, hours operation. No mobile food truck shall operate between the hours 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. And then the special permit process, deviation from any of these regulations shall require a special permit from the Springfield City Council. So these are things I'm proposing. And again, this is what I want to propose. Again, it's not 100%. This is what we have to do, but this is what I'm coming as the chair of this committee. And it's open for discussion as well from feedback from my fellow colleagues. But I also want to pass it to Chris Signoli, see your response, and then see if you have anything you want to open up with.
Sure. Thank you, Counselor. And thank you for everybody who's here. Just to give everybody an idea of how this started, last year, the city received a significant amount of complaints of mobile food trucks on private property. Internal in the city, we had a number of meetings, and for better or for worse, I was selected to put together an ordinance for this through the DPW. Right now, there is an ordinance in place and rules and regulations for mobile food trucks on the public right-of-way. All those were put together a number of years ago through the city council. So what we did is kind of adopted those. Now, I'm going to go through a handful of things here, and I am requesting that the people who are here, as well as the counselors, we've had discussions a couple times in front of the council, and other than the information that Councilor Click Bruce has provided, there hasn't been any formal request to modify any of the requirements. What we've done is we've put together the requirements as part of an ordinance that basically mirror the mobile food truck ordinance that is on that is in record right now for the public way. So I just wanted to go through a handful of things there. That the ultimate permit for the mobile food truck, the way that it's written right now, would be obtained through DPW. The ordinance, as well as all things, would be added to our occupancy manual. So when somebody comes in for a permit, it's part of our occupancy manual. We have down there, food trucks operating time will be 7 a.m. to 1 a.m. I know Counselor has a modification. However, if located on private property, the truck cannot be open any earlier or later than the primary business operating on the parcel. Just to explain, one of the places that we had an issue with a couple of years ago was a business closed at 7 or 8 or 9 at night. A mobile food truck came in and was operating. They wouldn't be, under this rule, they wouldn't be able to operate. Operation of a mobile food truck on private property cannot operate after 11 p.m. Trucks on private property must comply with certain setbacks, zonings, etc. Permit for trucks on private property that would be issued by the city would be for 6 months, and then permits could just be renewed for every 6 months after that. We had made a recommendation at the time that there be no more than 2 food trucks on a private property. I'm open to modification of that as long as the rules and regulations for that parcel work. Trucks on private property must submit a sketch in the area where the food truck will be. One of the problems that we have on certain parcels is food trucks are out there and taking up parking spaces, taking up access. So we need to make sure that in the primary business that is operating there still has enough parking, still has enough access, handicap parking is not impacted, etc. Loss of parking on private property must be addressed. Trucks either on public way or private way cannot be within 500 feet of a residentially zoned area or within a residential use of property. That is the regulation for food trucks on the public way right now. So for example, if we on private property reduce that, that would mean the person on private property would be in compliance, but nobody could be on the street and do the exact same thing. So my recommendation is whatever we have for a residential setback would be for both. The genesis of this is the complaints that basically have come from residences that are within X amount of feet of a mobile food truck. The private property owner will be required to provide a letter as part of an application that they are in support of having the food truck on their property. We discuss issues such as noise, trash, parking, etc. Permit costs right now, if you're on public property, it's $225 for 3 months, and then it's $150 for renewal. We are requesting that on private property that $450 for the first 6 months and $150 for renewal after that. The permit must be posted. Enforcement can be by police, fire, DPW, Health and Human Services, code, etc. Fines will be issued to the mobile food truck, vendor on public property. If there is a fine on a mobile food truck that's on private property, it will go to the owner. That's a citywide ordinance. So the owner would be the one responsible for paying the fine. We've listed that all fines would be $100 per incident. And we have added in there that there is an appeals process. If anybody were to be fined or anybody had their permit pulled for whatever reason, that we have to put in the appeals process in there. Our goal on the whole thing was basically to make this ordinance mirror the one on the public property, and be able to address the adjacency to residential property where all the complaints have really been coming from over the years. And just for everybody's purpose here, we presented this to the council, I think it was November, and presented it at the beginning of January. It's been tabled. The request was to obviously have people here like yourself. So we sent out a notice with all the information that you guys had, so that we can get as much feedback as possible. And I believe that is it from my side. Thank you all for coming. And we're really trying, and I guess the last thing, as I said before, we really want these two ordinances to mirror each other. So that one or the other doesn't have any sort of differentiating between the other. As far as someone being able to operate the spot and a person 10 feet away can't do it. So we just wanted to make sure that the ordinances were similar with that. And the document that was sent out, there's a lot of information in there, I know. But basically, most of that is what was taken from the other ordinance for the public way. So other than that, if any other counselors have questions or any other information, I'm happy to answer them.
So thank you, for the signal. So I will submit this to your office as well. And I'm going to open up the floor to my fellow colleagues, see if they have any questions or comments.
Yes, I'd like to hear from the owners of the food
Yeah.
truck.
We will.
What the impact these regulations are going to have on their business. We don't
Absolutely.
think we've heard that side of it yet.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get to them for sure. Counselor Martin, you have your hand up or?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, Mr. Chairman, as you had mentioned earlier, I had issued out a letter to you earlier this morning. Basically, the contents of that letter illustrate that, this has been an issue that was raised by my predecessor. It was an issue that apparently draws some attention in Ward 7. And as a, newly elected, newly sworn in city councilor, I believe I need a little bit more time to gather all the proper background information and hear from more of the vendors and whatnot before I feel comfortable enough to vote on it. So I just ask as a courtesy from my colleagues to keep this tabled in committee for just a little while longer as I gather the information to properly represent Ward 7 and the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Martin. Any other comments?
Yes, Counselor, I don't quite agree with that because we've been meeting on this ordinance for a while. And I think that Counselor Martin has the opportunity to like meet with Chris to get some information. This is probably what, the third meeting that we had on this, and also there's an opportunity to revisit the videos that of the council meeting. So I just wanted to hear from Chris before. I remember there was a reason we tabled it so we could reach out to the food truck owners, but there was some deadline we were trying to meet. Chris, is that true?
Well, Counselor, Madam President, what we were trying to do is get this all taken care of probably for the beginning of April, because I would assume food trucks on private property moving into the spring and summer are going to ramp up significantly. So we would want to get to the point where in April, if we needed to do the application process, that we could get it rolling rather than, having it done in May or June or July, so that everybody who wants to do the business in the spring and move through the summer will be able to do it.
And with that being said, for the process, they will have to still go through the process of getting the application, getting it approved and all that. And so they would want to do that a little bit before April.
Yeah, correct. That's why I was looking at it that, we wanted to get it taken care of before that so we can get all the applications processed.
Okay, process, yeah. So I mean, I guess we got a little bit more time. It's up to the chair really, but we have been having these meetings, and it's also like time consuming to keep having them and asking constituents to come down. But I want to hear from the constituents as well, like Counselor Walsh, but she also has her hand up. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Counselor Walsh?
Yeah, I'm just going to reiterate, we've had a lot of these meetings where we've only heard one side of it, and I don't think it's fair to pass an ordinance until you find out what impact it's going to have on small business owners. We haven't heard that yet, and I hope that's what we're going to hear at this meeting.
Counselor Walsh, that's why they're here. We're definitely going to hear from the constituents and the business owners for sure.
Let there be light.
Absolutely. Counselor Davila.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon all. And first, let me tell you how exciting I am to see so many people here today. I wish every meeting could be like this. Buenas tardes a todos. Buenas tardes. Buenas noches. Chris, thank you for being here, but I'm also glad to see you, believe it or not.
Believe it or not.
So Chris, as I told you last time, I'm very grateful you put this together. I couldn't have done it. And I know you did this with the best intention. Mr. Chair, with that being said, as I said in the last meeting, I do also believe that this should remain committee for a while. I realize that there might be a timeline that people are talking about, but I think that this is such an important economic niche that we need to get it right the first time. I also want to hear more from those in the industry, and they're here. And we're not gonna get everything in one meeting. So I do think that we need to keep this in committee for a while. I have heard some issues or some concerns, Chris, about the fees. I didn't know that it could be so expensive to put a food truck up and running. I mean, I have heard like $28,000, 2015. It's a lot of money. And so, so the fees, also issues with footage of the buffer zone, okay? I realize what you're saying, that 500 feet, I believe you suggested?
From a residential
From
property.
regulation, yeah,
That's the
So-
law for the ones in the public way.
correct, right. And so, so I also have heard some concerns with that. And I realize we got the one that is already up and running right now.
Yeah.
But I also, Mr. Chair, I do believe that we have two issues that are parallel to each other. That is one, this ordinance that is being proposed, but also how we continue to regulate those people on the streets. Okay, so we don't wanna displace them or make it harder for them as well. With that being said, Mr. Chair, I think that we need more advice from the experts. I have been speaking to Mr. Maldonado, Eric Maldonado from Borico Bites, who also has the food truck himself. He has mentioned to me the possibility of bringing some sort of, and correct me if I'm mistaken, Mr. Maldonado, some sort of a food truck commission, like association. I never heard of this. It's something that I personally would like to hear more about, because we're sitting on something. I think we're sitting on a very good economic opportunity here for all of us. With that being said, Mr. Chair, if you are at the proper time, I would love to hear from Mr. Maldonado about the association and specifically his thoughts as to what, in his experience, we have been able to, or we have learned other municipalities how this is being regulated throughout the country as well. Those are my questions for now. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Counselor. Seeing, I don't,
Mr. Chair, Maria Perez.
yes, Counselor Perez, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you so much. One of the tests that I taken here in this so-called meeting with some of the food trucks businesses, and the concern raised was first the fee in comparison to the fee that is being charged of the 225 if it's in a public place. And also, another issue that was reflected is that the food trucks, they have different foods that they sell out. Some food trucks sells food for $15, $12. There's other food trucks that only sell out items for $5, $7. And the discrepancy is very greater. So I wanted to bring that attention when it comes to the fee of the $450. And I met with a couple of them. Also, there was an issue by the owners now taking the accountability that it was not very clear what happens because now they're taking that responsibility and how does it affect their business as well. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Counselor Perez. All right, seeing no other counselors have any comments or questions, I'm going to open up to business owner Maldonado, to to talk about the Food Truck Association and or anything he wants to talk about being a business owner here in the city of Springfield regarding food trucks.
Thank you.
The floor is yours.
Not expecting to talk, I was just gonna listen, but I have a few concerns. So the first one, like Mr. Davila said, is, I think that in Western Mass, we do need a food truck association. I'm part of the National Street Food Vendors Association in the United States. There is 3 years now that I've been part of that. And they meet every year, twice a year in different parts of the United States. So I think, I've been saying it from the beginning, and I talked to the health department about that should be something that is looked at for this part of the area, because there isn't, everything that we find out, like I go into, websites and information. So I'll go to Chicopee and see what the fire department is doing there, and Holyoke, what the fire department, any new changes in the law, West Springfield, us looking for the information. But I think that there needs to be a place in the food truck conference that I go to, wherever the state is at. The state is there, the fire marshal's there, any new regulations, they're passing it down, and the health department is there as well. And I think that that's needed here. My concerns are, for being a vendor on the street, there's allocated spots already, and you're paying a fee for those spots every 3 months, every 6 months, or whatever, and they're limited. Being on private property and you're saying 500 feet using the same mirror is going to limit a lot of the spots where people are at, because they're trying to be in places that you can be seen. And there's not a lot of places. If you're taking away those businesses where they're private property, now, where else do they have to go? The fees that you're charging, now you're saying, like, I know the health department has said that their fee might go up. So now you're talking about a fee that's going up, this fee that's going up. I mean, you're probably paying $1,000 plus your insurance. Plus now you have to pay rent at a spot, that doesn't give you water, that doesn't give you, anything but a spot to rent. They're going to raise their prices because they're going to take more of a liability as well. So, those are the concerns that I had. I know that I talked to Mr. Davila that, go to Miami. I mean, go to Kissimmee and go to their food truck park, go to the Panhandles, go to different Arkansas, New Jersey. They have even New Haven, New Haven has a spot that all the trucks go to. They pay $3,500 a year. They never have any issues with it. It's the same vendors. You want to inspect them, they all are to code. And I think that, having a food truck park, it keeps everybody uniform. You guys will know who's on there. And I'm all for, I just think, some of the fees and these rules of how far they're going to be, I think you're going to hurt a lot of businesses because they're going to be within residential anyway. I mean, the city's not that big. There's not a lot of places to go now, so that's why we go to private, properties, businesses that let us on there. So it's my 2 cents.
All right, thank you for your comments. Any other business owners? The floor.
Hey, hello to everybody in the online too, right here in the room. My name is Anthony Vasquez. I'm the owner of Yomo's Bake. I'm on 475 Boston Road. My spot, I got 4 food trucks right now, and I was just writing a couple things that I would like to, to let whoever's trying to approve the ordinance here, right? What Mr. Orlando Maldonado just said about the 500 feet away, a residential and a private property. It's gonna be real hard for us, at least. I got 4 food trucks there that they are all family members. And those food trucks that I got, in my truck, I got my wife, my daughter working with me. Sabor Taino got his wife working with him. At Acostado, he's right here too in the meeting. He got his wife and his brother-in-law working with them. And the Chicken Man Chicken Shack, that he's by himself in his little food truck. We are just hoping the fees. The first thing I took my time last week and I went to a couple cities around. I went to Chicopee, West Springfield. I went to Hatley, Amherst. Nobody charged no more than $125 for the whole year.
So how much?
125 for the whole year. And I thought that Amherst was gonna be a little bit, and Hadley was gonna be a little bit worse because it's more, and they said that there's no problem if I find somebody that owns a property and they wanna let me be there, there's no problem with the city to let us be there. My worries is if we do all this changes, and somebody could say if I'm right or not from the whoever got food trucks here. I got co-workers here that they got food trucks. And my trucks sell pretty good in the town. But I got co-workers here that they don't even sell $200 a day. It's not even enough to pay their employees in a day. And raising the prices, trying to put so many restrictions to us, it's like kicking us out of town. Because if Chicopee is giving me the option to go down there for $100, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna leave the town. We are all taxpayers. We all pay taxes. We all vote here. We all trying to survive. We're trying to support our families. That's what we're doing here. And I know that maybe there's been some complaints around the year, but I think there's complaints everywhere, you know? Like, at least in my spot, thanks to God, thanks to the Lord, I have had no problem in my 4 years that I've been around. And I'm always on top of any try to happen in my spot. I'm always on top of it. Nothing's gonna happen while me and my people that are in the food truck near me trying to avoid anything, you know? And I think that's part of it. And I just hope that you guys could consider the 500 feet from away from the private property and on private property from the residential. I hope you could consider that to just leave it the way it is. It's gonna be affecting us pretty hard. We're already struggling, trying to survive in the winter. Winter, that's another thing, another point I would have liked you guys to consider.
Yeah.
In the winter, we are all struggling to try to sell $200-300 a day, hoping to keep the business open in the winter when summer comes to say like, okay, now we could do a little bit more. And whatever we didn't did in winter, we could try to get it back in the summer, right? It's hard. It's hard to keep this business up. It's right now my food truck is a value of $60,000. I pay $60,000 for my truck. Taco Star right here just got a new truck. He paid almost $37,000 for a new truck. It's not cheap, you know. It's pretty hard to and we don't do it like because maybe people think like this is a big business that we making a bunch of money. No, everybody's just getting a little bit from everywhere to try to survive in the town. That's what we're doing, guys. And I thank Victor. I thank LeVar. Thank everybody here to just give us the opportunity, right, to express ourselves and say whatever we feel when we think about what's going on here too, right? And I hope you guys could consider this for us. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you. Before we go to more, I see President Whitfield with her hand up.
Thank you, Counselor Click Bruce, Mr. Chair. I just want Chris to reiterate the fees for me one more time, because I don't remember what they are. And then I have a comment on the square footage from the resident. But I do want to reconsider what Jerry said, because I think he is coming from a point of what the residents feel about the food truck over what the food truck owners feel. And I think we should hear from residents that may have been struggling with the food trucks being in the neighborhood, so we can get a real well-rounded point of view from residents and food truck owners. But Chris, can you just please reiterate the fee structure in the ordinance, please?
Sure, Madam President, no problem. On public property right now, the application fee is $225 for 3 months, and it's $150 per 3 months for renewal. The proposal on private property was $450 for 6 months. This would be an initial fee, and then $150 per 6 months moving forward. So if somebody renews, it's just going to be $150 each time. When we did the public property, that was actually changed when it went through the council. with discussion with vendors like these people here, because on public property, a lot of them were only looking at 6 months throughout the year of where they were gonna be out there simply because of weather, et cetera. So, again, in me putting these forward, these are my recommendations. You're not gonna break my heart if the number needs to change. And sometimes when I do these, I like to throw things up a little higher so that we can get some discussion going. So, I'm not standing hard and fast on the fees. It's just a recommendation at this point, and or if we go to a yearly fee and then renewals after that, I don't have any issue with that. So from that's me from a recommendation standpoint, Madam President.
Thank you. Yes, I think that we should reduce the fee. I just quickly looked at the numbers in the surrounding areas, even Amherst, Northampton, Lowell, Chicopee, all are under $200 for the year. And so I don't want to cause any undue burden on these small business owners. So I guess we can make recommendations for the changes at a later time when we do more research on it, but definitely don't want to cause that hardship on the small business owners. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam President, should say.
Thank you.
All right, any other comments from our business owners here or anybody here that's in present?
I have a small comment. I own a restaurant here in the city and I put the food truck out in the summer. A couple years ago, my comments about the time percent.
Yeah.
A few years ago, we were out till about 3-4 o'clock in the morning. Our food trucks were doing phenomenally well. We didn't have no issues, no problems. I understand the concerns of issues and problems at that time of night. So if we were to hire like an actual officer to be out there, would you guys consider extending the time if we have security out there? Because food trucks at that time on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we do really well after 2 o'clock in the morning. People come and you'll make up for the earlier in the week that you didn't make that type of money.
Yep.
I lived it. I was there and I seen it. So I would hope you guys would take that in consideration as far as the time goes, especially if we're going to hire actual police officers to be out there for security purposes.
Point of clarification.
Sure.
I'm sorry, what's your name, sir? Melvin. What's your food truck and where are you located?
So I have a restaurant. My restaurant's Kai and Eli. We've been there for 12 years. And then about
You're in my district.
Yeah, on Sumner Drive. So, and then about 4 years ago, on State Street, it was right over there near CVS. It was us and a couple food trucks. And this is before.
Corner of Stebbins at the old gas station?
Yeah, right there.
Yep.
So we were all out there and we were out there probably for like 6 months. This is when we didn't really know anything. There was no ordinances and stuff put in place. And it did well. We had it lit over there with lighting and so on and so forth. And we never had any complaints with as far as like violence. There was no, because we know the city and late night and there was no issues at all. Some of the people complained as far as resident. I understand that location was close to residents, but if we were somewhere.
Stebbins Street, right?
Yes. So if we were somewhere like where your place is on Boston Road, where the food truck place was, I think that place would do very well late night with no problem, especially with hired police there for security.
Personally, from my standpoint, I don't, as long, locations like that, I know when I saw the one on Boston Road, my first reaction was, this is kind of the perfect place, it's set back, there's parking.
Yeah, it was perfect.
And it was the way that it was cordoned off, everybody could do everything that they needed to do there. So that's the sort of stuff that I look at. And from an hour standpoint, you know, when we first started this back, the ones that we were talking about from a complaint standpoint were the ones that were immediately adjacent to residential property where, all of a sudden a bar would let out at 2, everybody would show up at the food trucks and there's, 10 or 15 cars right next to a residential property. And those were the complaints.
And which is
that we were dealing
understandable.
with. Yeah,
Which is understandable.
absolutely.
If the
Absolutely.
location suits it, I feel like
Yeah.
to be at least taken in consideration.
And I agree with that 100% because if it's in a perfect spot,
Yeah,
from an hour standpoint, make
Yeah.
hay when you can.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially in like places like he was saying, Kiss to Me and down, they do them all night.
Yeah.
They do 'em all night.
No, we'll definitely take that into consideration for sure. Definitely serious.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Hey, Navarro, I wanted to just know, there's a couple people here that they don't have food trucks yet, but they're already in the process to get one. And I invite a couple of them to the meeting, that way they could know how everything's going on here. So that way they can keep it track.
Got you. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'm behind you, sir.
Yes,
Miguel?
got the floor, Miguel.
Yes, good evening. Oh, I own a pizza trailer out in Lakeland, Florida. Like he was saying about, Orlando, Kissimmee, how it works over there. I know this state runs a little bit different. I also, me and my wife own a food trailer here. Yo soy de aquí como el Coquí food trailer. And over here, I see Springfield, I had to put my trailer somewhere else, right or wrong. I'm out in Palmer now for the past 3 years. Because here is kind of a little bit different than where I'm at right now in Palmer. And the prices up here in Springfield, I think is kind of outrageous for a food truck. And then the way people complain, and like he was saying, if we could have a nice lot that we could put all our food truck, all different type of flavors around, like Kissimmee does, that'd be perfect, And then we can extend the time longer also, like he was saying. It's perfect. We do it in Florida all the time. My truck in Florida is open 7 days a week, from 8 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock at night. And I don't have no problems over there at all. Nobody's complaining. Nobody's saying anything. I pay my fee once a year. The police department, the fire department, everybody pays their dues. And everybody's happy. But that's what Springfield needs. Springfield needs at least a vacant lot. The city could, a matter of fact, the city will make money as well if you put posts, 50 amp posts, in a lot here somewhere, and everybody could plug in. Now it's quieter, so now you got no generators running. So that's another thing. You get potties for the bathrooms. They put them in one section, like they do in Florida. I have it over there in Lakeland. So it's something that you should look into. I own a house in Springfield for the past 30 years on Berkshire Avenue. And I used to own a bodega out in Main Street, Indian Orchard. I had a restaurant in the back, Main Street Bodega Plus, back in the 2018, 16, 17, around there. So I've been around the business for a long time. So in 2002, I opened my first trailer with a little trailer out Kissimmee. So then from there, I built a new one. I bought a big pizza one out in Lakeland. So, in the food trailer business, I know about it very good. But the community in Springfield, you should stick together about the food vendors and, see if we could get an empty lot somewhere. I see a lot of big, the city of Springfield building a lot of like casino and all this stuff. But anything here for the kids as well. We could bring a food truck park somewhere with good activity for the kids as well. Bring something to the community. And that's where we live. Stick together, build something in the community. All the food vendors could go there. They go make their money. Little kids could have a little bounce house somewhere. There's a guy with a trailer with the hoops for the kids to play. That's something very good. And that's good for the kids as well. So it's something that's good, all together, stick together and build something together.
Thank you.
That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, you have the floor.
I saw something about some times that were being proposed, like running times.
Yes.
Could you guys explain, I saw it was saying if you were in a public place versus a private place, why would you have a restriction if it's on a private lot?
Well, Chris,
The hours of operation and all of the requirements that we were trying to put together for this on private property mimic what's on public property. So that we were trying to make both of them basically the same, so one doesn't have an advantage over the other. That if you as a vendor want to be at a certain spot on the public right of way, because you got a good spot, I don't want you to have an advantage over somebody who might be 20 feet away on private property or vice versa. So really, we're trying to make them the same.
I get that, but if I purchase a lot of land, that is an advantage. And that's the advantage that I have by purchasing it. And then it's not, to be against anybody, but if I own a piece of land, it's my land.
Yep.
Why should I be restricted?
No, the restriction that we would have is that it would fall into zoning as far as making sure you have enough parking, making sure you have a setback like any other business that you would put on a lot, that all of those items would be addressed. And so that you're, working there as long as it's good on that parcel. As far as I'm concerned, I'd be happy with it as the reluctant author.
So it's basically like a lot of residential place, you could have a half an acre lot and you got another house over there, you can't. Basically, it's all residential.
Right.
So now if you're out, like they say on State Street, you have a property there, there's a lot of businesses.
Right.
That
Right.
is illegal commercial.
Right. Exactly. And one of the, and I don't, I hope, not that anybody's in the room, but as an example of a complaint that we received, there's food trucks that are in the food zone at the corner of Belmont and Oakland. And the complaint that we get from the residents across the street is that certain times of the summer, they have to listen to a generator until midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. And if you're living there and you're having to listen to the generator or the lights or whatever, that, and I'm not saying it's a good thing or bad thing. Those are the complaints that we, and I say we in the city, not just me, I don't get a lot of them. But that's the sort of stuff that you hear. And there's numerous ones like that around the city. So that was a lot of the genesis of that. If we're doing these rules to help make sure that we're representing you guys, number one, and the residents is number two. So we're trying to find that balance.
yes.
Question. I'm part of the food zone, food truck, gentlemen. That's a very big lie. We never stay late than 9 p.m. I never see a truck. I've been there for 7 years. This gentleman been there for 10 years. We on a subordinate one in Chapel. And the lady we be on the food zone plaza 8 to 10 p.m. I mean, that complaint should be addressed because no truck been there to 1 p.m. in the morning. I mean, that's like you mentioned right now.
Right. And, the complaint is, hey, we got to listen, regardless of the time, we got to listen to a generator. If you were a residential property, you had a generator next door to you. So if a residence has a generator, they can't run that generator outside. It's illegal.
Sad thing about it is that this gentleman here, Anthony, had a very good location. Everybody's aware of it. We were up on Boston Road. He had everything coordinated.
Yep.
Sad to say, one of your members is the one that destroyed the whole thing. I'm not afraid to talk about it. Orlando stepped in with his girlfriend and it went to nothing. And that park was perfect. Like you said, it was away from everybody. He had it coordinated very nice. The reason why I went there was because he called me there. The reason why a lot of them went there because of him, because this guy is a very good going guy. I don't know if you guys know him at all, but this guy knows how to coordinate the stuff and keeps the place very needy, very clean. That's the way I'm sure that the city wants everything.
Yep.
I think that for the generator, maybe it could be hard for some food trucks to get it. But at least my 4 food trucks that I got in my spot, we changed from generators to inverters.
Yeah.
It's a lot quieter. That could help. I did it because I got neighbors in the back of my food trucks and I didn't want to bother them a lot. At the beginning when we started with generators. We had no choice. We were starting. So now everybody got an inverter. It's a lot more quiet. So that could help. That's something that you guys could consider maybe too for everybody to change.
Thank you. Council President Whitfield.
Yeah, I just be having clarifying questions based on what I heard. So Chris, you say you got complaints. Where do they come from? Do they call DPW? Do they call health commissioner, police department? Because I'm actually looking to see how many complaints we actually got. I asked Superintendent Akers to pull that data. But where are you getting these complaints from?
Police ordinance.
Oh, police ordinance. So they're calling the ordinance officers?
Right, right.
Okay, because I just want to.
And I'm sorry, Counselor, it
Mm.
comes up at the C3 meetings as well as in that's why I said it comes through the ordinance side. And I know Officer Made is still on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, it came through a lot of the stuff that I talked to people out came through their office.
Yeah, I did because as you know, I'm the co-chair of the Mason Square C3. I did get those complaints when the food trucks were at that gas station on Stedman Street.
Right.
We did get those complaints at C3. I'm just trying to see relative to the amount of food trucks that we have, how many complaints do we actually get from the community? So I just wanted to know where you got them from. Is the ordinance officer still on?
Yes, Officer Made, sorry for not recognizing you.
No, it's okay. I was just here to listen, but yes, Miss Whitfield, a lot of the complaints do come in through 311, and at the C3 meetings and the regular beat management meetings. You know,
Okay, thank you. I'm wondering if we could get like um the information on like how many complaints we actually got about food trucks.
all
To
right.
the
I can try to talk to the lady for 311 to see if we can narrow it down because they're all different sectors.
yeah.
So it's kind of difficult to kind of arrange everything in one, but
Okay.
it hurts to try.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President.
Mr. President,
Yes, Council.
Councilor Perez. One of the issues, I have to jump in another meeting, but I am very concerned about the amount, the fee that's being charged.
Yep.
As part of the chair, I want to recommend that we have another short, another committee meeting so we could discuss the fees and come back to the constituents, with the discussion of the fees as well, because by visiting the food trucks businesses around my area, that was one of the biggest concern. It was the fee, the amount that they being charged. So I'm recommending as part of the share that we have another meeting and hear from other people that were not here tonight. Unfortunately, I have to jump to this other meeting, but that will be my recommendation. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Perez. Yeah, that was going to be my recommendation. And also, I was going to send out or have the staff send out an email to all councilors to see what they what they recommend, so that way we can submit to Chris Ignoli along with having additional meetings to discuss. Because again, we want to make sure we get this right. I understand, from the city side and Chris being thrown into this, that we want to get a jump start on it before the summer hits. However, we want to make sure we do right by our business owners and also our constituents that are abutters, and try to make it right and equal for everybody, and making sure that we're also taking care of our business on small businesses as well in the city of Springfield. So Councilor Whitfield, you have another?
Yeah, this is just my last comment on this. Just wondering if abutters to the food trucks can get a notice this time, so all can be in the room.
I don't think we have any of that information. I mean, 'cause I know where a lot of the food trucks are, but we sent out
Okay. So you sent the notices to the business owners, right?
to everybody who has had a food truck license, I believe at least in the last 2 or 3 years. That was provided to me by Health and Human Services, because that's where they're initially approved through. So they provided the list of everybody who's had a permit.
Can we do one of those robocalls or something that, tells people that it's happening? So if they're by the food truck area, they at least have a notification?
Yeah, and what I would probably do with that, counselor, is if we do something like that, I would want to post all of the information somewhere so that people could look at it. Because what we did with the people here, we sent an email out that had the actual ordinance, that had the highlights on it. So I could, we could just post this information so that the average, I'm gonna say resident could probably take a look at it online.
Okay, thank you.
And Chris, can we also get this over to our neighborhood councils as well, so that way they can possibly present it to the folks that go to those meetings as well?
Yep.
All right, thank you. Councilor Walsh.
Thank you, Councilor Chairman. I would just like to say that I think it's a great idea to have another meeting on this. I support the motion to committee, even though I'm not on the committee. But if this came before the council in the form that it's in now, I would not be able to support it because I'm very concerned about the fact that it's more difficult to do business in Springfield than in some of the surrounding communities. And I think we need to resolve that because small businesses are the heart of America and we want to keep them here.
Yes, absolutely.
And the one thing that I just wanted to add, Counselor, when we did the modified solid waste regulations a year or so ago, we ended up coming back 3 times because as like a regulation, something would happen out in the field and whether it was a counselor or a resident would come back and go, who put that in there? And it's like, well, that's what was voted on. So having everybody look at it, what I don't want to be doing is coming back in August and then coming back in January and then, moving along. So I really invite people to look at this and anything that the recommendation is, I can either make a list, make the changes in the document in front of the council. So no issue with that.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. We haven't heard from, before I go to you, let me give Councilor Hurst the opportunity. Councilor.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilor Bruce. Much appreciate you all hosting this meeting. Apologize, I'm driving at the moment, but I did have a quick question for Chris. Chris, is there any rhyme or reason for how you've set the fees for the food truck? Do you have any idea what the administrative costs are going to be? Did you compare it to any of the other surrounding cities? How did you arrive at the number that you're at now?
There was a lot of mathematics that went into it, Counselor. We have an application fee for food trucks in the public way of $225 for 3 months. And so for this, we were going to do 6 months at a time. So I just doubled the 225 because that was for 3 months. So that was the wonderful thought process that I used.
Got it. Got it. Sounds like it was pretty entailed.
I'm getting booed here,
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Councilor Clay Brew.
Thank you, Councilor Hurst. Councilor Dobbs.
We're paying attention.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, if I may just summarize a little bit from what I understand today's meeting, it appears to me that we do have some sort of a consensus of these 2 issues from this group. One, the fees. It appears to me that you all think the fee is too high. I actually agree with you. What is the right amount? I don't know. But unfortunately, I hate to tell you, there's going to be some sort of fee, right? And so I don't know what the fee is yet. But one, it appears to me that you all think that the fee is too high. 2, it appears to me that you all in agreement is the square footage as to what the buffer zone is. I realize Chris is suggesting 500. I know we have spoken about 50 with our generator, 100 with a generator. But that appears to be, Mr. Chair, what appears to be the consensus here. If I may suggest to you, Mr. Chair, that perhaps I will submit to you that it appears there's also an appetite in our colleagues, Mr. Chair, to have another meeting on this, which I agree. I also agree with Councilor Walsh that this was to come informed as it is. I would not be able to support it myself, as I think it would be detrimental, unfortunately, to the industry. May I suggest to you, sir, that we put a meeting out in 30 days, and then we can, I spoke to perhaps Mr. Maldonado, and that I would love to hear suggestions, written suggestions from you guys. what you guys think that should be going into the ordinance, because this will affect you. All right, so I personally, I suggest to you, Mr. Chair, that they submit to us, Mr. Maldonado, the group, a list of suggestions, but you guys have to meet privately, independently as a group with Mr. Maldonado to make that happen. Otherwise, we won't know. Finally, I will say to you, Mr. Chair, and Chris, correct me if I'm mistaken, I don't recall seeing traffic patterns in the ordinance as it relates to food trucks.
What we asked for is that wherever they're gonna have that, we just need a sketch where you're gonna have your food truck. Does it impact the existing parking on the site to be able to see that? And if this food truck is going to be in a spot, where would those people park? And that could just be in sketch, we're not looking for a surveyor or an engineer. It's just something like that, so.
And that's something that I'm gonna be looking at myself, Mr. Chair, because I have personally seen situations with food trucks and as it relates to traffic and
Right.
pedestrian, that has made me wonder. That makes me scratch my head.
Yeah.
Because if there's an accident, all holy hell's gonna break loose.
Right.
Right? And so that's something that I will be looking at as to, because we need to make it safe for everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
For the people and for you guys, so you guys don't get sued as well. So with that being said, those are my suggestions, and thank you for holding this meeting.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
One of the other main concerns was the time on private property.
I'm sorry, at the time, yes. The time, I say, thank you, Melvin, for saying that. So I do like Melvin's idea a lot. Maybe we should look at officer/security. Hiring a police officer could be very pricey because they go 4 hours minimum.
Mhm.
And that could be very pricey.
Or private security.
Yeah, but something that I've done, because we need to have this run well. So you guys make money, the city makes money, and we get to eat good food. And it's good for the city. So thank you, Melvin, for doing that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
It's like 2:45, 3 hours.
I got a small issue and maybe it looks, that's for Chris, maybe if you guys pass by my location, you might see that sometimes it's totally packed where the food trucks at. But it's not our fault, it's that we got across the street the dispensary and they grabbing all our parking sometimes. And it looks packed sometimes, but it's not even the food truck. So it's, sometimes we got customers that can not even go because we don't got space. We just got a zone change in our property on December 4th, and we are gonna pave it in Chris and starting spring because we was gonna do it now, but they closed. They won't pave right now.
Right. Yeah, just the issue with the dispensary, they are going to be, we have to make the change to the zoning regulations with regard to what we had for dispensaries. They had an area that they couldn't use because it couldn't be within 500 feet of the school, from the school. That's changed. So they are going to be submitting plans to, they got like right next to it's kind of like an open lot. So
Yeah, I
they're
saw
gonna be
that.
expanding that into a parking
That'll
area.
be
So hopefully
That'll be good, yeah.
people shouldn't be there, and they're also parking on the street. So that'll probably happen in the spring as well.
That's good. Yeah, I just wanted the DPW to consider us, because they went last week to take me out of there. They want all of us to leave last week because we haven't paved the land, but we just got approved in December. I told the inspector since I was gonna do it, it's just, it's not because of me. Soon as springs come, we're gonna pave the whole thing and it's gonna be nice. We're gonna have more parking. It's gonna be more nicer stuff for everybody.
All right, so this is what we're gonna do on this topic here. We're gonna wrap up this conversation. Because I made an error on the agenda and I wanna make a motion to keep this in committee. Chris, and we'll work with you to try to figure this out sooner than later. However, we still have some recommendations, some work that we need to do. So we're gonna keep this in committee. And thank you all for coming out and voicing your concerns. It will be taken into definitely consideration and making us think more into this and making sure that, again, you guys are all represented. So thank you for your time. So I make a motion to keep this in committee. Well, you say it again.
Second.
We don't. No.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm on the committee by default. Yeah.
Second.
Just you and her.
And then you can say aye.
So,
Yeah.
so aye. Say aye. All right. Thank you so much. So we're gonna keep this in committee. All right. So Leslie, I'm sorry I didn't call you first. My apologies. I know Jason had to get off, so I don't know if you have the information for the Parker Street. Again, my sincere apologies. There was an omission on my part to not calling you guys first, so my apologies.
No worries, no worries. We understand. But no, I do not have the information. Our subject matter expert had to leave at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So we look forward to having the opportunity to meet with you again.
All right, so I'll have Daisy contact you all, Daisy or Sean. Again, my humble apologies. I'll make sure we'll get with you all based on your schedule, and I'll make it work on my end. So my apologies.
But on that, Counselor, what I would suggest, and Leslie, if you agree, I would suggest that it get back on the agenda for next week.
Yeah.
And if it can be presented and the counselors are happy with it, it can get voted on. If not, we can then have another meeting.
Okay.
On that. So that would be my recommendation. You have an issue with that, Leslie?
I do not. Thank you, Chris.
Okay.
All right. So we'll do that, Leslie, and then again, if we have any issues with that, we'll come back.
Perfect. I'll let Jason know.
All right. Thank you so much. Again, tell Jason I truly apologize.
Yes,
Thank
no
you.
worries.
Right.
Take care.
All right. All right.
Everybody can go home.
So I think we're all set. This meeting is adjourned at 6:05 p.m. on a Wednesday, January 28th. Thank you all for your time.